there, welcome to another Software for Fashion Retail video. We're going to have a look at the different cash options available within Software for Fashion Retail, namely disbursements, IOUs, banking, recon, or cash ups and cash drops. We'll start with IOUs. Now, don't be alarmed. The term IOU is possibly not the best term. However, why we've used it is when somebody goes and purchases some milk or stationery or that type of thing, they're going to be taking money out of the till. Now, if you do a spot cash check, there's going to be no justification as to why that money is short. So an IOU is simply a little note that gets placed in the till to say that I, as Anusha in this example, took 50 Rand for stationery, for argument's sake. And that's now saved. And it prints out a little IOU slip that can go in the till. So the manager, manageress, area manager, whoever may check knows exactly where that money is at all time. When that particular person comes back, they would now fill out an actual disbursement, which is your actual accounting expense based on this particular IOU, and that was to do with stationery. Is stationery an option in here? There we go, printing and stationery. Now the amount that was actually purchased was 31 Rand 95. The change of 18 Rand and 5 cents was put back into the till, and now that IOU is cancelled and an expense of 31 Rand is actually processed through within the system. So your cash is reduced by the 31 Rand 95 effectively, not the 50 Rand. Should you wish to bypass the IOU process, you can do. It just means you possibly run that risk of not knowing where that 50 Rand is when your staff member goes to purchase whatever particular consumable they are going to purchase. From a cash up point of view, if we click on cash, recon or cash up, it opens up our cash up form. What you do is you click on new to say I'm creating a new cash up, and it breaks down the various different tenders and the calculated amounts, what you've counted, and the associated variances. So if we start with a credit card, you would tally up your credit card slips for the day, and let's say it's a perfect world and it all balances 7620. So the system calculated that amount, counted that amount, and that's your variance. The drop amount is what amount you're going to be dropping in the safe. Now it's hypothetical, I know, with credit cards and those types of things, but we just keep the process uniform just for sort of simplicity's sake. Center voucher, the same thing. How many vouchers from the actual center in which your shop is based do you have? Let's say in this example we've only got 490. The 3 Rand was possibly a finger slip or human error, so that variance of 3 Rand is going to be logged away. And then cash, you would punch in your corresponding cash amount. Regarding cash, we have a cash calculator down the left hand side to make the counting process easier. So if you don't want to actually cash and tally the money, you could go through and say I have two 200 Rand notes, I have let's say 65 100 Rand notes, and you can go through and put in those various different values. I've got 45 of those, and you can see this number is increased here, and so too is that counted value there. So I'm just going to try and put in some numbers here to get my my cash to actually balance. I need another 6 of those, let's say. You can go through and put in our various different amounts here. And so we're going to go 29 of those. And there we go, 4 of those. And 3 of those. There. So we're just fiddling those numbers just so we can come up with a value here. Obviously you would put in what was actually counted. Sadly, I don't have 8,600 Rand sitting in front of me. So now that we've put that in, it's come up with those totals. This is what was counted. This is the variance between me as the system and you as the user, and those values are written away. We've also got the option to hide the calculated amount, in which case you simply just put in what was counted. We call it a blind reconciliation. Some owners feel that it's more secure that way, so that people can't start checking what was short, what was over, and start trying to play the system. it has its merits, but the problem with that, however, is if you put in your values, you don't know if you incorrectly put in 8,600 as opposed to 6,800. Now, that would only be picked up by head office and have to be explained then as opposed to on the spot. So we've catered for every particular sort of choice and preference. You can go through and do that, whichever really suits you. Now, you can save this reconciliation. It warns you that you're trying to save it with variances. Are you sure? We say yes. You have to now enter in your username and password. It asks you twice, and the reason is if you were handing over the till to another cashier, it can act almost as a digital signature. Your username and password, their username and password. So there's no pointing fingers and who blamed who at a later stage. If we go through and click on new now, you'll see it comes up with all 0 values. So that cash up can get processed sort of at the day end, and then you're on a fresh 0 to start for tomorrow. There are a few also reports that we'll have a look at in a little bit more depth later, but just to show you, you've got net takings by tender and cash up reports, which help explain where those reconciliation values came from. So if you click on here, it gives you a breakdown to say, of the cash value that you had the total of 8,600 for, it was made up of these particular transactions: lay-by payments, credits, bankings, disbursements, sales, voucher sales, etc., etc. And this little report can be printed out as well. I hope you enjoyed the cash video. A nice little short and sweet one, fairly sort of straight and to the point, not much to go through there. I hope you will join us next time for our following videos to do with the reports and the security within retail, as well as the actual stock taking application. Thanks very much. Ciao for now.